Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone, for another banging episode of the Massenomics podcast. We're coming to you from two of the corners of the Dakotas. I'm up here in western northeast South Dakota, and Tommy's down there in eastern southeast South Dakota, of course. This is the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
All right. Long time no podcast, right, Tommy?
Yeah, I forgot how to do this.
Seems like it's been a while, but just got to get back on the horse, don't we?
Yep, back on that two-assed horse.
Back in the saddle again. And speaking of being back, SPUD Ink Straps is back as a sponsor again this week. Maybe like the 300th week running at this point that SPUD Ink is back as a sponsor. You can check them out at spud-ink-straps.com. SPUD Ink started because the lifting straps available at the time were not tough enough to handle the daily punishment that comes with training as a power lifter, or that could easily fit in your gym bag. SPUD Ink created their straps to withstand whatever your training puts them through. Finally, training gear that works as hard as you do. Whether you're looking for belts, harnesses, deadlift straps, SPUD Ink has you covered. Check them out at spud-ink-straps.com. If you order $75 or more and it's a domestic order, you receive free shipping. And make sure to let them know that your good old buddies at Massenomics sent you when you're getting your straps, wraps, belts, bow ties, belt squat belts, all of it at SPUD Ink Straps.
Today's show I'm getting ahead of myself.
Just do the barefoot ad, and then
today's show is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. They're not for your feet. Barefoot Shoes are shoes started as simple. I'm going to tell you a story here, Tanner. I'm just getting all mixed up here. Okay,
I'll sit back and just ready for a story.
Shoes started as simple coverings to protect your feet, allowing you to thrive while retaining the strength and functionality enjoyed by barefoot living. Now, modern shoes restrict our feet, compromising our natural movement. Shoes should be wide so your toes can spread flat to connect you to the ground, and flexible to give your feet freedom. Wearing barefoot shoes allows you to reclaim your foot's functionality and strength so you can lead a stronger life by experiencing improvements in joint pain, muscle activation, sensory feedback, balance and stability, and biomechanics. Tanner and I both rock barefoot shoes in and out of the gym. That's with the Ursus high top and with the new Bruin boot that we've both been using and loving. If you want a pair of barefoot shoes for yourself, go to www.barefoot.shoes. And while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Thanks, Barefoot. I'm going to wear my barefoot shoes to the Arnold.
That's
I'm going to try them.
One of the things I'm doing this year is I am bringing a healthy rotation of shoes. I'm honestly probably going to bring a backpack with me to switch shoes out during the day, because when you're standing there all day long, your feet just like need something different underneath them at points in the day, you know?
It's true. If anything that we're learning over the years, it's foot health at the Arnold is key to survival. And I'm curious to see, I'll be reporting back on how I feel with I'm going to at least I'm probably going to wear the barefoot shoes on Friday or Saturday there and see how it compares to some of the other shoes.
I'm telling you right now, I'm bringing 3 pairs of shoes with me to the Arnold just because I just, got to switch it up. Got to. I might even just have one permanently stashed. I might just keep my barefoot shoes permanently stashed in the booth every day, so that I can be cycling into those.
And they're lightweight and easy to transport, so you could have them in the backpack really easily. And they have a booth there too, so we could just go buy some extra pairs if we need to. Some emergency barefoot shoes pairs.
Yeah. This is a barefoot emergency.
Barefoot shoes, not for your hands. Okay.
Tanner, I gotta come clean about something. You know, we're all about full disclosure here on the Massenomics podcast, and if anything, the fitness industry is known for its cheaters and liars and snake oil salesmen and people
That's
that
true.
are not telling the truth. So I think I have to be fair and come clean to our audience about something. And, well, here it is. I am on creatine right now. So, I don't know if that changes.
Unnatural.
I don't know if that changes
Ooh, wow.
your
I don't know.
perspective on podcasting with me now that you're
Well,
an enhanced podcast host.
I guess I personally feel lied to about this
Okay,
thing.
well,
Like I thought this was a natural show.
I wanted to get out in front of this.
Oh boy. Oh
Yeah.
man. I don't know. I have a lot of emotions about that right now. Actually, I guess I always took you as natty, but
Yeah, I know. My natty status is being challenged all of a sudden.
so where did you get it? I'm curious. I am not on creatine.
This is
show
the first,
maintains some integrity.
This is the we're only 50% keeping it straight over here. This is the first time I have taken creatine, I think, in 5 years,
yeah.
maybe even more. I just went on books.
I'm intrigued because I keep thinking about. I keep telling myself I should take creatine again, and I've done it a few times, and I always never.
To me, it's always one of those things where it is like, well, if anything, it's like a 1% difference. And I think, well, a 1% difference of nothing doesn't matter. And now I kind of feel like I have something going to my training. So it's like 1% almost means something again now. So
right.
I just went on bulksupplements.com and you can get like a 2-pound bag of creatine for $25 still.
So what brand is it?
It's Bulk Supplements is the brand.
Oh, Bulk Supplements. Oh yeah, I've had that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you have it with? Because it's unflavored.
It's unflavored. So
You just have it in water.
that is the other thing. I've also been supplementing with protein lately too.
Oh my
and
God.
I know. Where does it end?
Where does this rabbit hole end?
It's
You're
just smoke and
digging
mirrors,
deeper,
lies and
deeper,
deception
yeah.
over here. So if I make like a shake or something, I'll throw it in there. Otherwise, at the end of the day, if I have not consumed it yet, I'll just throw it into like 8 ounces of water and just chug it. It doesn't really gross me out. It's chalky, but it doesn't taste like anything, and it's
right.
powder in your mouth, so that's fine for me. So, yeah, that's how we do. So, I guess you could say PRs are going to be falling any day now.
These, I'd say, enhanced. Living that enhanced life. Luckily, the Lift Hard, Live Easy meat is an XPC meat.
Woo, dodged a bullet there.
Now that we've aired out all of our dirty laundry, we've got a very, very special. We don't do it very often. We've got a write-in Q&A episode. So we asked for Q's on our Instagram page,
and we
asked
give
for
you the
questions in our story.
A's.
Yep, and we're going to give you the A's in this episode. So we've got quite a few. So I don't know, unless you think otherwise, I say we just dive right into it.
Dive away.
All right, let's dive.
I'm climbing the high board, and I'm ready to dive on in.
Yeah, we're getting. First one is from Big Vince. He says, how international is the Massenomics Discord? I'll assume it's very North American heavy.
Okay, so first there, it would depend on if you consider North America international with Canada and America. Do you consider that not international?
Well, I mean, if it is, right? Like, I don't know.
Yes. The Discord does favor North America the most, which does make sense because that's the part of the country we're in. But
there is a lot of Canadians.
There is a lot of Canadians in it. Our neighbors to the south are always appreciated. But a lot of Canadians. But there's a sprinkling of people from all across Europe, for sure. We have Denmark, Iceland,
some countries I'm not positive what they are. I just see the address, and some
Austria.
international addresses are so confusing to me
are.
that
It's
I'm
like
like, what part of the address is this even that I'm looking at?
I swear we have some international addresses that do not list the country in them.
I would agree that I'm like, why is it 7 zip codes? Why is your address 4 zip codes and and none of all letter-based zip codes?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find. A lot of.
There are some that I'm not even positive what country it is, and we send them stuff.
Here, I'll give you a few more here. So a lot of Canada, Sweden.
I think we may have some Australian Discord members too, to mention another continent.
Austria, Denmark, Netherlands.
Definitely got some Dutch. We've got big Dutch Matt. I know that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to track them all down here, but those are the ones I'm seeing right away looking through.
There's
here.
a bit of there is a bit of a variety, more than you maybe would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you would expect 0, right?
Right.
Would that be the right answer?
Right.
But it is not 0. So
this is from Big Ross from the gym. He said, "How tired is Larry today?"
Oh,
well, it's a day. If it's a day that ends in Y.
Has Larry been getting his lifting in? I haven't been keeping.
Oh
up
yeah,
too much
Larry's competing in the South Dakota USAPL meet in Sioux Falls.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, at Liberty Barbell.
Do you know?
Down there in March.
Are we going to be attending that? Do you know?
I don't know. We haven't talked about. I mean, that would be up to us. The tricky part is that it's probably just a couple weeks after the Arnold.
That is, that is the most annoying part of it, is that it is.
And then it's at a different location. I think it's at the gym, so I don't know. Yeah. I assume he would maybe have room for us if we
probably
reached out.
Might have to look into that.
Yeah, we have to look into it still.
It's nothing.
Larry's
for me.
Competing there though, so he's training for that.
I mean, I guess assuming I'm not out of town, I will be there regardless. But yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, to answer the question, Larry is very tired.
So he is doing 2 meets this year, huh?
Yeah, he's got 2. He's signed up for 2 meets right now.
Just doesn't stop. He just he can't not do that one in March, can he?
He can't not do it.
He's just, it's a part of who he is.
Yeah. He's been doing it since before we were. He's been doing it for 10 years. Okay, next question from Big Jeff. He said, ever thought about leaving the Midwest? Where would you go if you had your druthers?
That's a good question.
So if you were to leave the Midwest, where would you move to?
Well, see, this is where
Midwest is pretty big area too.
Well, it's a big area, but if we're just going to say like, no, just, okay, you can't say Kansas or Ohio,
right.
The outer reaches of the Midwest, Chicago, you can't say that stuff. Just pick something on one of the coasts or somewhere else.
Right.
But the question is if we're saying, well, we're just in pretend land, if you can pick anywhere,
yeah,
does cost of living matter? Because if I'm actually going to give you a serious
Big
answer,
Jeff is a financial advisor, so cost of living matters. I think.
I know. That's why. I mean, I do think California is a beautiful state, and there's a reason people want to go on vacation there because it's awesome. And if cost of living really didn't matter, I probably would pick California. But it's also insanely expensive, and the cheap part of me would have a very hard time doing that. So I'd have a hard time giving that one as my actual answer. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I'd have to pick somewhere on one of the coasts, though. I've just lived a landlocked life for so long that I think if I had to pick somewhere else, I'd probably pick somewhere on the West Coast, I think. Yeah, I think that's what I'd do.
I could see that. Myself on a technicality, that we've outlined borders here before, that I think this is a fair answer, based on definitions. But ever thought about leaving the Midwest? Yes, I've thought before about living in southwest South Dakota, west of the Missouri River, which is more mountain west. Separate time zone,
it is
much different territory than it is here. So, if I was realistically to move, that's the area I would be moving to. That could very well happen someday. I mean, it's not going to happen anytime soon, like anytime relatively soon at all that I could predict. But if I was to, that's probably would be my number one choice if I was to go somewhere else.
We'll just say, hey, a lot can change over the course of 300 podcast episodes, so stay tuned.
That's true. That's fair. Next question is from one of the Davids. And I don't think we need to elaborate on this very much, but I would just say his question was, what's the deal with the cease and desist? And all I would respond to that is, take this as you may, but there technically is not a cease and desist if I'm going to be technical about the answer to that question.
Right.
So,
yeah, true.
So I think that's an interesting way to answer that question.
Yeah.
To leave that there.
Say maybe an abundance of caution, maybe.
Yeah, right. Next is from Big Toby. He says, with the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic making its debut, any chance of a return of the Strongman Showdown, the Massenomics Strongman Showdown, 3 years running, 2016 first year, then 2018, featured at the Brown County Fair every summer, 3 years running. It was a epic event, especially turned into grew life of his own and became an epic event there where we had thousands in attendance watching the strongman competition.
So I have actually never thought about this until right now. And
use the formula that we're using now.
Yeah, and I actually never considered that, you know what, it could exist outside of the fair. That was part of the monstrosity of the Strongman Showdown, was that it was tied into the fair, which is the craziest time of the year in Aberdeen. I mean, no comparison. It's just the entire town is a mess then because there's so much stuff going on. And that makes it awesome for a spectator standpoint because there's a ton of people, or a competitor standpoint. You have tons and tons of people watching you, but there's just a lot of, especially when it's where it's at there, it just leaves a lot of variables were out of our control.
It's the good and the bad, though. It's the pros and the cons stem from the same thing, probably on the
and it was just things were pushing more and more in a direction where we were starting to have even less and less control, and more variables were being introduced all the time, which just
variables that weren't ideal for suiting what our desires were with that show.
Yeah. So I could possibly see maybe someday it does return, but I don't think it would be part of the fair. I think it would just be its own thing.
Yeah. And the other thing we could do is we could take more of a powerlifting meet approach to it, where we bring in someone that wants to run some of the run more of the nuts and bolts, and we can
has some like implements that we don't have too, you know, things like that.
Right.
Because I don't know. I mean, we're always limited to, like, if you want to train strongman at the Massenomics gym, we have all the stuff to train the essentials. But if you want to do some fun, unique stuff at a competition, we don't have some of those things either. So,
maybe the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic goes so well this year that next year we want the Massenomics weekend, where it's the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic powerlifting meet on Saturday, and then Sunday is the the Strongman Showdown.
That could be pretty cool.
Just so you get everyone in here in one weekend, and some compete on Saturday. That's an idea. I mean, that's a kind of it's a wild idea.
Yeah. The other idea would be to just have a strongman competition, and then a few months later have the powerlifting competition too.
Right.
That would be the other
Space
option.
them out. That would be like the saner approach to that.
Yeah.
But the more epic approach is to put them on the.
You limit the people that are traveling from far away. It gets really hard for them to make 2 trips in a year.
Well, and that's part of the fun is you get all the people to come at
together.
the same time, so that they half of them get to watch the other half on their off day. But all that's possible, but no real plans of any of that yet.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this. I mean, I think the answer is we'll see how this goes first.
Yeah, I almost think, if anything, though, if we were going to talk about growing and changing things, we'd probably move to a bigger powerlifting meet before we'd move to powerlifting one day and strongman the next.
Yeah. But we could do an even bigger powerlifting meet one day and have the strongman. I mean, these are crazy ideas that I wouldn't be prepared.
Yeah. Right. We could just do a double platform, huge powerlifting meet, and then the next day.
And the next day also be set up for the strongman event.
Yeah, we single-handedly brought 300 athletes into town for one competition weekend.
I suppose if you could make the venue the same,
that would probably make life a little easier, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe it's more fun if the venue's not it is a trap. It's like a moving show. Okay. Big Jake said, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if woodchuck could chuck Vogel pole? Interesting play on that one. No real answer to that question though. Let's see. Big Lance asked, Massenomics only fans? ? I saw Steffi Cohen had a post today that she's not going to do an OnlyFans. And it also doesn't fit in with our morals, I suppose.
Yeah,
although you are on creatine now, so I don't know what we even stand for anymore.
I'm morally bankrupt over here.
Yeah.
Nothing has any value anymore. Yeah, I don't think that's in the cards anytime soon.
I don't think there'd be a lot of money for us to be made.
Probably dollars to be had every month.
Yeah. Let's see. This next question. Any chance of membership cards for the crew that barely missed the cutoff last time? So we occasionally send out gifts to our supporting members. One of the early ones was the supporting membership card.
Maybe.
I think at some point, maybe it'll be I like the idea more of like fresh things, like that it's
I
like
do too. I could see if enough people feel like they missed out, though, that we could potentially.
well, maybe the card's reinvigorated at some point in time, and like
this
this
is
is like
reissue. This is a new
where it's
new
like
card.
Like I have, and then that way the people that have been the longest, they say, no, I have the original card and I have this card.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. I like that. I think we would do a new updated version before we would do a straight up reissue of it.
Big Josh says, what is the one thing you want to sell that you never have?
Like, I don't
know, like a product, I guess, or something maybe that you would want to sell. What is the one thing you want to sell that you never have?
Oh, like as in like that we've never been able to sell before.
I guess
is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Not as in like you never have in stock, but you've never have been able to sell it before.
I would like to sell the all go no show tee because we haven't been able to sell very much of that.
That's a good answer. That is a good answer. Other thing we'd like to sell, boy. There's not a ton of things that we really want to sell that we can't. You know, for the most part, if we want to sell something, we do it.
There is one product out there. I won't specifically mention it because just in case it still happens someday, that I would have loved for to come to fruition with us. But there's some hurdles of even how we're able to sell that particular product.
Yeah.
And so that's really fits the answer to this question. I have to stay vague on it just because I would still like to see it happen someday just because of the fun, the environment that would be around the whole product. It wouldn't necessarily be a huge money maker for us, but more so I like things when we get to sell them and like they just turn into
a meme.
They're a meme in themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about with that one, and that one would be fun. But for the most part, everything else that we'd want to sell, we have, or like this year, there's a few things we've wanted to sell, and they're on the list for this year. I think they're going to happen. So, yeah, we just keep chipping away. Yeah, we're kind of doing everything we want to do, or at least have it in the works.
Well, but buy the all go no show tee. I would love to sell that.
Yeah, but also make sure you buy a few of those while you're at it.
When you hit episode 500, this is from Big Josh also. When you hit episode 500, will the podcast finally be about something?
At that point, we have so much momentum of nothing.
Well, we got to get to 400 before we get to 500,
True,
right?
Yeah. That's they're jumping multiple years ahead of the timeline here. So
that's in like 3 years.
I'll
almost be 40 by the time we get to episode 500.
Oh, God. 40 and well into your middle ages, right?
Yeah. As determined by a prior episode. Big Jen says, thoughts on climate change? Haha, just kidding. What are each of your go-to pizza toppings?
Well, it's really hard to go wrong with meat of any kind on a pizza, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah, if I'm going to order a pizza at a place, I mean, pepperoni is always the old go-to, isn't it? Isn't that kind of the measuring stick for how you compare? Nick.
Well, our friend at
Nick of Live Large, an Ohio style pie. You know, he said something that was very. I felt like he really illuminated the pizza world for me when he said. Because I'm like, oh, what's like the pizza you go with, or what's the crazy? What do you order? He's like, no, every time you go to a pizza place, you can get whatever you want, but you have to get either a piece of cheese or pepperoni because that is the true measuring stick for what their pizza is like. Yeah, you know, anyone can go to a place and throw a crazy sauce, all these crazy toppings, a bunch of cheeses and some other stuff, and you go, oh wow, this is interesting and good because, well, yeah, you covered up the crust, you covered up the cheeses, the seasonings with all those things, but if you can nail cheese and pepperoni, then you know you got a good pizza place, and so. Yeah, if you're ordering pizza, you got to have like just pepperoni or even just like a single topping meat of some kind. Like that is, you can never go wrong with that. I always like a good supreme pizza too. You know, something with like a triple meat of some kind is always good. But then again, you start getting into the like territory of if they do really load it up, it's awesome because there's a lot of meat. But at the same time, it just starts to just taste like a lot of meat. It covers up the pizza part a little bit more. So
I pretty much agree with all that. The only caveat I'd add in for myself is I like black olives. I like a combination of pepperoni and black olives, and that would be an odd one that I would throw out there that I like.
Olives are one of the only foods that I just do not like.
Do you
And with that
dislike
being
both
said-
colors the same?
I dislike both colors the same. With that being said, if they're in something or on something, I will eat it.
Right.
But I prefer to not have them.
That's fair. Next list. Can you provide a list of upcoming guests? The transparency of Table Talk is refreshing. Well, I wouldn't be against providing a list of upcoming guests, but
Do you know how things work around here?
yeah, they do not know how things work around here. It is very hard to line people up that far out.
Yeah, Table Talk
And-
can do it because people have to have travel plans and go there.
Yeah.
We make a phone call, which means a lot of times if you make plans with someone more than a week out, 3/4 of them will forget it. And so you can't count on that. So planning things out more than a week is nearly impossible. And then trying to get people the week of is also impossible because either people don't think it's enough time or it doesn't work with their schedule or... I mean, how many guests, Tanner, do we have that we don't know would you say the majority of our guests are only known about 24 hours in advance?
Yeah, I like it if it's like a week out, but that doesn't, a lot of times it ends up being like 3 days out.
Yeah.
And sometimes a day or two. But like, we have a huge list of people we're trying to get on. I mean, like right now we're going to have Big Jess on again. Well, depending on the time of this, maybe we actually even had her on just recently before this, but we're working on other people all the time. Like Joey Swole is the most recent one I've tried to reach out to. I think he'd be an interesting one to get on. Then like Lawrence Chalet, that's a timing one to work out and with him. Goob, I think we'll have him on at some point in time. Mitchell Hooper, we've reached out to him. Pa O'Dwyer, he's definitely expressed that he will be coming on, but it's a matter of when. Mike O'Hearn
has expressed multiple times that he wants to come on.
Every time I talk to Mike O'Hearn, he's all about it, but he's got a couple movies coming out and he wants to wait until the movies are released. So I think we can talk about that a little bit too. Buddy Caps is on the wish list that I hope we make happen. I kind of keep asking, and so I don't know if that'll happen or not. Nathan Payton is a nutrition guy for a lot of the strongman people. Love to get him in. Marshall Johnson, big equipped lifter out of North Dakota that's been sponsored by Elite FTS and stuff. We'd like to get him on sometime. The more plates, more dates guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could just go on and on. I haven't even really tip of the iceberg this list.
I mean, you have not even made it through a fifth of the list here. It's huge.
Maybe we need to get Brad Gillingham at some point in time and find longtime friend of the podcast, Brad Gillingham, get him on here.
I just see also on our list we have Meg Gallagher. I know she has a position that she does not do podcasts, but
last year at the Arnold, she pretty much. But we work on her again this year at the Arnold. I think.
Yeah, we can chip away at that a little more for lucky.
Maddie Forberg, she's talked about it, and I think we'll get her at some time. Amanda Lawrence, I'd like to get her on. Mm-hmm. It's not all dudes. We do have some women on here that we'd like to get on.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar, of course. Talk about South Dakota stuff.
He is actually on the list. With his Miles from You Betcha.
Yeah,
Dom Mazzetti, which is Mike Tornabene.
Science Life.
Yeah, Eric Bugenhagen, love to make that happen. Devin Lorat, the arm wrestler, love to make that happen. Dave Hoff, love to make that happen. Actually, I'll add this one in here right now because I reached out to Michael Fahey, and you know who I want to get on? And he's going to hopefully try to line it up for us is Bob Coe from Westside versus the World. He's like one of the main guys talking there. I think he'd be a fun one.
Yep.
So we'll see if we could get Bob Coe at some point in time. But that's why we don't post that beforehand, to give you an idea of, it just doesn't work that way for us.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I would love to. If we knew these people were going to be here, we would advertise the list and let people know, because it's just great for us, because it's these names we can put out there more. But yeah, that's just unfortunately not how it works.
Right. From one of the Davids, Rat Race from 2001. Has Tommy seen it?
Ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing but a crazy rat race. Yeah, I think that's the theme song. Does that answer your question?
Is Mr. Bean in Rat Race?
He is in it.
Mr. Bean.
Isn't that movie a remake of?
Yeah, I think it is a remake.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw that movie in the theater, and I've seen it multiple times since. Is that the movie where they go,
it's a race. It's a race.
Yeah, it's a race. That, and then I'm prairie dogging, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm prairie dogging.
Is that in Rat Race?
I think it is. Isn't it the guys with? I think it's what they're with John Lovitz and his kid.
Okay, that's in Rat Race. Okay, yeah, because I definitely remember that. I forgot that's what the movie that's from. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Big Kevin asks, "What is your favorite domestic light beer?" Have we said that before?
I don't know if we actually have. I don't know if we actually have. So if I'm sitting at a restaurant and I want to order a domestic light beer, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say Bud Light. That's, and I don't even know if I should say 9 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10, I'm gonna say Bud Light. That's just what I say. I'd never ever ask for a Coors Light. I never ask for a Miller Light.
Definitely not Miller Light.
No, I always ask for a Bud Light. But I also never ask for a Busch Light. So, it's if I'm getting domestic light beer, I'll make a slight exception. Okay, yeah, Bud Light is 9 times out of 10. The 1 time out of 10 would be Ultra.
Okay,
Ultra, Michelob Ultra. That would be the we're doing something different here.
My longtime go-to in that way, and this isn't the most common beer I even order anymore because I'll usually get, I don't know, whatever strikes me at the time, but Coors Light would be the typical thing that I would think if you were asked me what kind of guy are you? Well, I'm like a Coors Light guy. That's like what I would, that, and really just for historical years of just ordering that so many times, it's just like, I don't know, I guess that's what I get.
You don't really think about it. It's just,
right.
Yeah, your brain goes to, this is the
I
default.
don't mind Bud Light. I don't particularly like Miller Lite, though. There is something different about Miller Lite to me.
Yeah, I mean, I would
drink it, yeah.
Yeah, they don't, honestly, none of them matter to me. Like, for a long time, I was a Keystone guy, but you can't get Keystone and, you can't order Keystone anywhere.
Yeah, but Keystone's a byproduct of Coors Light anyways, right?
It
but
is.
But you didn't, because if you were the Bud Light guy, wouldn't you be Busch Light for your cheap one?
But then I never, ever would buy Busch Light. It was either, if I'm going cheap, I get Keystone, and if I'm not going cheap, I get Bud Light.
Okay.
But God, we used to drink a lot of Keystone. Like, a lot of Keystone, man.
The Stones.
It almost felt like you got immune to it after a while. Like, it just didn't do anything.
I like all the stories. I know we've talked about these, but all like the theories on what Keystone Light is. Like, it's just the bottom of the barrel from the Coors Light mixture.
Yep. And all the Keystone cans are the rejected Coors cans.
Yeah.
They're all dented. That's how it is. Yeah, all those things. I'm sure none of them are true, but.
From Big John, would you rather drink/eat/lift with Kurt Kowalski, Josh Bryant, or Stan Efferding?
Probably Stan, because I know Stan would at least be talkative. I don't know how talkative Kirk was. I don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
We've
had Josh and Stan both on this podcast here.
Yeah. I'd probably go towards Stan, I think.
I would lean towards that just because I know he's got kind of a fun personality,
Yep.
We've met, talked to him in person a few times.
Had him on the podcast.
Yeah. Kurt Kowalski could be fun, make for a fun story.
He could be great. I don't know what he's like outside of being in the gym. Not that I really know what he's like in the gym either, though.
True. I know he does 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Big Anthony, he said, serious question here. How can a hanging/pull-up competition based on body weight be made fair for people of different weights?
Right. Like, what type of handicap system do we need here to make that
Well, it's an interesting question.
The
question to me is should there be a handicap system or not?
Right. I don't know how there probably is an answer here somewhere.
Yeah, we were just doing this in the gym the other day.
Because if you have someone that's pushing closer to 300, like, it has to be harder for them to hang than someone that weighs 160, right?
Yeah, I think so. But then is the logic, well, you should be stronger?
Well, but I think the idea would be, let's just say, most people can hang, we'll just say for a minute and a half, but the guy that weighs, if there's a few guys that are weighing closer to 300 and they can only hang for a minute, then do you standardize it so where everyone's getting closer to a minute so it's a more interesting competition,
Right.
because there's no competition to be had if just the lighter guy can just beat him by a minute plus every time.
Yeah. I mean, the way that the heavier guy can definitively win is just beat him straight up, and then you leave no doubt.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
the alternative for handicapping is using the belt, the dip belt, and hanging the weight between your legs. But so then if a 160-pound guy, if he has to hang 345s between his legs and do
that's not fair either. Like you can't do all equal weight because that's just not how their body's built. I don't know if it's like you do 25%,
50% of the difference or something
I
like
think
that.
even 50% is too much. I think if you said 300, divided by 4, God, I don't know, is 75-ish pounds.
Well, of just the difference though. So if he weighs
just the
160 and
difference.
you weigh 300, so it'd be 140 pounds difference. 50% of that would be 70, or 25% of it would be 35 pounds. I think the answer lies somewhere in there. Yeah.
And that's where you would standardize it too, I think. Yeah. If you really wanted to have the most even battle possible.
Right. Big Keith asked, what Cool Beans things will be going on before and after the July Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic meet? #meet prep.
Well, so these are all things we're working on, but we'll definitely do. I mean, the gym will be open all weekend, so people can go down there, check it out. And whether that's a scheduled get together for everyone to go down there, I mean, that could be pretty fun if we pick one time for everyone to meet up down there and go down there.
And it will just be straight up open for anyone at their convenience to go check it out and do whatever they want to there.
Yeah, so I think there's probably has to be some time to meet up at the gym for everyone just to hang out. We've talked about doing a live podcast at some point that weekend. I think that'd be really fun. That
would probably be on Friday if we could make that work.
I mean, Saturday is going to be,
Saturday is.
But then after it, we're going to get a bit of an after party going at the American. And then eventually we'll round up the troops and hit up the nightlife and, go explore downtown, hit up the zoo, do that whole thing. Probably even make a stop at Loggers or the circus too before we go there.
Yeah, weigh-ins will be on Friday morning, so other activities, there may be some sort of map of important places for you to check out, like if you have spare time on Friday, almost where the people that can get to the most check the most places off the list wins of just important Western, Northeast, South Dakota destinations.
Yes,
of particular Massenomics significance.
There's a lot of people that want to swing by your house at some point, Tanner, so that might be on the list somewhere too, even.
Yes. And I think your old house, where we recorded for many years,
is a point of, importance.
And probably Tyler's old house where the podcast started.
Yeah. So those will all be on the list somewhere, I think. But yeah, we'll get that itinerary pinned down more, but those are all ideas that'll more than likely be happening.
Yeah. Big Patrick says, has there ever been a point in the history of the podcast where you wanted to call it quits?
Boy, I mean, we've definitely never ever had a conversation about it. I know it's been a long time, but there has been days where it's I don't really feel like podcasting.
Yeah.
But
that happens. When you do anything for 7 straight years.
But I used to get that feeling more longer ago than I do now. I mean, now it's just, I feel like it's just something you do. It's not, I don't really ever dread it or think of it as a burden where, I don't know. We've never talked about man, I don't know if I can keep that's never ever been a conversation we've had before. No, which is kind of actually funny to think about that we've never said is there just something
should
we gotta
shut
think
it
about,
down?
Or can we shorten these? These are just getting to, we've never ever talked about altering it to make it less of a time constraint in any way.
There was not that long ago when we transitioned to the format we have now, that just out of us struggling to get it to work, that I was not we should quit doing this, but it's shit, how do we make this work? We figured it out, and now it's a non-issue to me, but
we did, and it seems so obvious now, of course this is what we had to do to make it work. But man, we had 5 years of momentum. We were trying to turn around and do something slightly different, and it was just hard to think of this is where we need to go, this is what we need to do to make it happen. And I'm glad we did now because it looks awesome and it works just as good as it did.
The one other point in time I would point out is when early on when it was still a 3-person show, at times I did have thoughts of like what is the
how long can this
what
keep
is
going?
what is the future of this?
And it's funny, if you listen to those first 100, because there was 3 of us, I remember there was straight up times where I would just text you guys that day and be like, yeah, I can't make it today. And I just wouldn't podcast that night because I'd be gone that weekend and I was like, oh, I might have to rush back to make it. I'm not going to mess with that. So just tell me guys, nope, can't make it. And then if people are ever listening to the old ones, then there's, why isn't Tommy on this episode? And why is he gone a month later? It was like, I was gone somewhere. And I just said, no, I'm not rushing back. So sorry guys, not making it.
Yeah. But no, not really, to answer the question more shortly. Let's see. Well, here's the same question from Big Wildflower and Jim. Can you guys reveal a rough draft of the itinerary for the meet? Well, we kind of talked about all that already, didn't we? Big House of Steve asked, has Tanner seen The Wire yet? Nope. That's a big no.
Oh, speaking of TV shows, I watched
Letterkenny.
No, I did not watch that yet, but I did watch. I think the first show I've watched since my daughter was born, just because it's so hard to with kids. Like 2 kids makes it significantly harder than 1 kid even. But
I honestly don't know the last. I'm in a weird rut right now. I haven't had a TV on in like maybe over 2 weeks now.
Really.
I'm not saying that to sound like I just don't even know why that is exactly, but it just it just has not worked out for me to turn the TV on.
Yeah, it happens. But I did just watch Severance. Have you heard of that at all?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
It's on Apple TV, and it was really good. I really liked it. I would, if you're into sci-fi-ish thriller type things. And when I say sci-fi, it's hardly even sci-fi. It's talking more about like mind control and memory control stuff. Oh, it was really, really good. I loved it. It's 9 episodes, and each episode's between like 40 minutes and 55-ish.
Is it one season of it?
It's one season, but they are making another one, but there's just one season right now. So you don't have a enormous time commitment, but I was really, really impressed. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good, and I would recommend that to anyone.
Big Matt said, "Are you loving Letterkenny, and will Tommy watch it before you watch The Wire?"
I probably will watch it before Tanner watches The Wire. I actually did think this week this has been a bad week for me, but the idea did cross my mind of thinking, maybe I will start that this week, but I just haven't had a chance to watch any shows yet.
And I'm liking it. I just haven't been on it for a bit. And
how many episodes are there?
Oh, I don't know. There's a ton of seasons, and
there is. I didn't know if there's maybe 3 like 10 seasons or
no. There's like 10 seasons.
Oh, okay. So I'm going in deep if I do that one.
Yeah, like I don't even know where I'm at in the catalog. Like I might even know if I'm like halfway through it.
Well, that's a little more daunting too.
Yeah, Big Chris D.
How do you say it?
Big Chris D. Says, what's Tommy's biggest pet peeve now that he's in a commercial gym and not good old Massenomics gym?
I think the one I most commonly run into that I still don't get is people saving dumbbells. That's what, or
like guarding dumbbells.
Yeah, like okay, you need the 25-pound dumbbells, sure. Use them, and then you just put them right back on the rack. Like they don't need to sit at your bench.
You're using them for like 20 seconds.
Yeah,
just
you use
set
them
there.
Yeah, you use them for 20 seconds, and then they're on the rack for 8 minutes until you do your set again.
Then how about I use them in between when you're not using them, and then they're back there way before you even need them.
The reason the gym has 4 sets of 25s is because people do this, and still there can be times where all 4 sets of 25s are gone.
Yeah.
So that's probably my biggest pet peeve because it's so dumb. A lot of the other things people do, they're annoying, but I kind of get why they do it. I just do not get why when there's a line of benches that are, 4 feet, 3 feet from the dumbbell rack, that you need to take the dumbbells and keep them next to your bench and yours. Like the only reason you need to do that is because everyone else is doing it. Like if no one did it, it would not be a problem. But it's just always... And then the worst is when people hoard multiple sets of them. I have the 20s, the 25s, and the 30s all at my bench here. And it's just Like that's not needed. So that would be the thing that affects me most in a way that annoys me. And then I never understood, I've talked about this before, I've never understood or realized how in demand a cable machine is. I thought a cable machine was just something you did a couple accessories on and like called it a day. I did not realize that. I think if someone opened a gym with nothing but cable machines, I think they could actually sell memberships because people would just line up like, oh, sweet, a cable machine and mirrors. Oh, I'm good for the next 2 hours. Here we go. Yeah. It blows my mind that that's how people will spend an entire workout, but there is guys that do that. And it's also really annoying because you just get the cable machine pinned down and then you get someone like me that's trying to do a single exercise like tricep push downs or something. And you got people just blocking off the cable machine. So that one is also pretty annoying.
Big Joey says, would you rather give up pizza and milk, wings, or eggs?
Well, I mean, I don't like pizza and milk together, so I could just have the pizza and not drink the milk.
I don't know if that's saying you have to give up both or you just have to give up having them together.
Yeah, just the combination. It's like, well, I don't have to eat the entire combination, do I? But I guess if I had, what was the last one? Pizza and milk, wings, or what?
Eggs.
If I had to pick, I'd probably get rid of wings because I don't know. Wings are best when you go to a restaurant and get them. And pizza, even frozen pizzas are pretty good. I eat more pizza than I eat wings. So if I got rid of pizza, there's more spots in my diet I got to try and fill in with stuff now. Yeah. So I think out of convenience, I'd have to get rid of wings. But that wouldn't be an easy decision, but I think that's what I'd do.
There's no way in hell I'd be getting rid of eggs. That's
no,
easy.
That's what. Yeah, there's just that was a no-brainer. Like eggs have to stay.
Then to me, it's pizza and milk or wings. If I can get rid of the pizza and keep the milk, I would do that. I could do that right now. I'm a big wings guy.
Dude, I actually did homemade wings tonight.
Oh,
and that's why I was late. Or I should say when we recorded this, Stan. But that's why I was late. They were taking longer I baked them in the oven, and damn, they were good. Oh,
They are good. Wings are good. If I have to get rid of both pizza and milk, I would ditch the wings. But if you could let me just get rid of the pizza, keep the milk, wings, and eggs, that's what I would do. Big Scant says, what did Taco John say when you proposed Nachos Navidad in July for the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic? To be determined on that, I think, right?
Yeah. Never say never.
Then he also asked, follow-up question, is Nachos Navidad in July starting on Thursday or Friday for the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic? Well, we don't know that yet either, do we? Stay tuned. Big Professor Steven, is the band Creed good?
Depends on what you consider good. If you consider getting the guys together and screaming at the top of your lungs, if you consider that good, then yeah, they're great. If you consider them critically acclaimed music that will live on forever, then maybe they're not that good. But yeah, I think I've said this story in the podcast before. For my bachelor party, we went to San Diego and we were drinking a lot. We're having a very good time. We'd been on the beach outside all day long. And at one point, for whatever reason, we had a pop-up tent with us. And in the pop-up tent, the Easy Up, there was a little collapsible shovel for some reason. Something like you'd find at Swisslink.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we decided to start digging a hole with this shovel. So there's like 15 of us guys, all pretty drunk, digging a hole. And the hole keeps getting bigger and deeper. And we had a speaker with us. And for some reason, Creed came on the speaker. And you have like 15 guys standing around a hole, drunk, screaming. It's like 3 p.m, screaming Creed and like just laughing and having so much fun. And this guy it would basically be me now. It's like a guy probably was slightly older than us, so about 30.
Probably had a couple kids.
Walks by with his 2 kids and is just like really smiling and laughing. And we're like, yeah, that guy gets it. And he just kept laughing. Yeah. And I'm like, if I was in that same situation now, I'd just be thinking, yeah, those guys, they know what's up. And Creed really made that moment. So take of that what you will.
That's good. Big Evan says, can you give more info on spectating the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic? If we're crew, do we just show up, or are you selling tickets? So there definitely is going to be spectating, of course. I think the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic is going to be packed to the gills, if I'm giving you my honest assessment.
There's no way it can't be.
But yeah, you just show up. Like, there is going to be, if you're not competing or whatever, a helper, then yeah, there's going to be a small fee at the door. But no, you don't. It's not a ticket, pre-ticket.
Yeah, you just show
maybe
up
we
and
should
pay
reserve a row of seats for crew.
Actually, not a bad idea. I never thought of
Like,
that.
just say, Discord crew, supporting members only, and there's
then after an hour after it starts and the place is overflowing and people are just sitting wherever, then that goes out the window, I guess.
yeah, but it'd be a funny sign to put up, basically.
Yeah.
But no, just show up. It is going to be a full crowd, so I'd say get there early to get a
Yeah, we
better
will.
seat.
There's not a ton of stuff to do in Aberdeen in the summer, so I anticipate a fair number of just locals to just show up to watch something,
Yeah, and the venue is just big enough
Yeah.
for what we're doing, honestly. So it will have a very fun, full feel to it. I think it'll be cool.
Uh-huh.
One of the Davids asked, would you rather yearn or hearken?
Boy. I don't know. Yearn, maybe?
Yeah. I like to hearken, like our
Like the
pennant flag, like you've got behind you there. It really harkens. That's a toss-up. You can't go wrong with either, can you?
No, both are good feelings to have.
Yeah. Big Repeatonomics says, will you be hiring Ramstein as the musical guest for the meet as promised in episode 96?
Did we promise that then?
Well, I believe maybe the conversation was something around that if we did a meet, Ramstein would be the musical guest, as we promised so many years ago.
I don't know if we can guarantee that this year, but you know what they say? There's always next year.
That's true. How about this? We will play Du Hast at some point in time during the meet.
To make it up to you, we will only play Du Hast the entire day. It'll just be on repeat.
Du Hast. Big Tom says, Massenomics affiliated gyms. What would it look like? I don't see that. That's not a thing. That's not
I
a
have a hard
scenario.
time seeing that too.
Yeah, an affiliate gym. Well, that's like, I suppose, so the gym is paying something to be called, say that, and I don't think anyone's going to find any value in that. So.
Yeah,
I mean, what it looks like is they buy a few of our flags and hang them up, and then then we say, just that's cool. But
yeah, under the loose affiliate term, but yeah.
I tell you this, if there was a way for us to make money on that, we'd do it, but I don't think the market's there.
The gym market hasn't exactly been the easiest market in the last 4 years if you've been paying attention to things.
Let's see. Okay, Mr. Lift Hard Live Easy from our neighbor to the south here in Canada. He's got a few questions here. First, he says, can we get some open powerlifting stats of the week? I think maybe get our unpaid interns.
I would love to have some of those. Maybe after the meet's done, we can get a few of those though.
That's possible. Yeah. That's a good idea. That's a good point. He also says, idea for the next drink spotter, ... The bathroom buddy. We won't elaborate much on that as of right now, but that's an interesting thought.
The bathroom buddy. That's just a person that helps you in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's your buddy, bathroom buddy.
My bathroom buddy.
Big Jake says, will my Massenomics wardrobe pass for scrubs? Planning ahead for residency.
Well, there's the old saying, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. So I'd say just when in doubt, go for it.
Yeah, that's I think the correct advice. Recentonomics. Okay, we had Repeatonomics in here. Now we're having Recentonomics. They ask, who is Tyler Effingston? Recentonomics wouldn't know because
if you're new to this game, you wouldn't know. But that would be one of the first people on the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, Big Chris, also fellow South Dakotan. Who wins, silverback gorilla or grizzly bear? Have we done this before or not? Okay, maybe not.
I don't think we have.
Okay.
Boy, that's a good question. Part of me says grizzly bear because they got sharp teeth and claws. But silverback gorillas are pretty damn big too, though. I'll say grizzly bear.
Okay. I'm just thinking, what have we done for ad break so far?
Oh.
Have we only done the first one?
I think we've only done the first one, yeah.
Okay. In that case, let me hit everyone with a little something right here. Just going to hit you up with this.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
The Strength Company, don't miss them this year at the Arnold. They've got a big island booth. Make sure to check out Grant and his old team and let them know that Massenomics sent you.
Yeah. Okay. Does that mean it's my turn or is it someone else's turn?
I think your Professor Shans isn't going to do this one.
Really? God, is he ever going to step in? Okay. Well, this episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Texas Power Bars. They're known for the original, world famous, one and only Texas Power Bar. And their story was Buddy Capps first started lifting Olympic weights back in the 60s, and he noticed that the bars hardly had any grip. The knurling on the bars was so light that they were almost slick. The sleeves were held onto the bar with a threaded cap, and the inside collars were held in place with a set screw. Each sleeve consisted of 3 pieces. His goal was to create a bar that would keep a better knurled grip, a bar whose sleeves wouldn't slide to the center, and a bar who was maintenance-free. What was the result? The Texas Power Bar. Proudly made in the USA since 1980s, the shafts are center-less ground, I don't know what that word is, and oiled to bring the max before shipping to Texas. Once at their production facility, they machine and then knurl each shaft to create a grip that is still the best in the industry. Texas Power Bars have different finishes available, including black zinc and chrome plating. The sleeves are available raw or chrome plated. And when you are on their website shopping their bars, they have a huge selection. They have the original Texas Power Bar, the Texas Squat Bar, the Texas Deadlift Bar, the Texas All-American Bar, the Texas Cerakote Bar, the Texas Bench Bar, the Texas Bodybuilding Bar, the Texas Monster Squat Bar, and the list goes on. Get your own Texas Power Bar at texaspowerbars.com.
I can tell you firsthand there's no better feeling than grabbing that Texas Power Bar shaft in my hand and just squeezing it.
It is the best.
Something about a good shaft.
I've noticed, because what are they 28 millimeter?
28.5.
28.5. And what's the standard bar, or most bars, 29?
A lot of power bars are 29. Yeah.
I notice a lot of people like to make a big deal about that. How do you feel about that, Tanner?
I guess what I'd say is I like our 28.5 millimeter bars and I like our 29 millimeter bars. I am able to do all of the lifts with both of them without much issue at all. You know, and then it's not a big issue to me.
And then what really adds another variable is a lot of deadlift bars are 27 millimeter, aren't they?
Yes.
So then again, it's just almost turns into a thing. And then a lot of squat bars are even bigger than 29. So
yes,
it doesn't bother me much.
Right. No, I agree. And as you were saying, what did you go with on the silverback or the grizzly bear? I just had a thought that we need to read an ad.
Bear.
You said grizzly bear. How come? Because of the razor sharp teeth and claws and stuff?
That was it. That was the reason.
What's the silverback's advantage that he can do like more like human like movement?
I think
stuff?
so. He's more of a humanoid type creature.
I wouldn't want to face that mouth on a grizzly bear, I don't think.
That's my thing exactly.
I guess I'm leaning towards grizzly bear too.
Okay.
I got this next one is from Big Love Lady, and it's like almost like he was able to respond to the question with a song. So
okay,
I suppose I could plug this in even to make it.
Yeah, maybe that would help
better. But I don't know if it'll come across very good to you. But
yeah, Zoom likes to.
Let me just do it old fashioned way. Well, it'll do the same thing either way, won't it? Or will you hear this better?
Maybe try the. I can't hear that very good. Maybe try plugging it in once.
It doesn't matter. It's called Borat dancing.
Oh,
it's a dance music. So that was his question. Is just he just sent us this Borat dancing song. It looked good.
Boy, I wish I could hear that. That was a lot of fun. Just think about that tonight.
Big Scott Dodds, 2 questions, last questions that we'll wrap up here. First, he said Massenomics NFTs.
I think the bubble on NFTs has mostly popped, hasn't it?
I mean, to me, it wasn't even a...
Oh, yeah, it's not a thing, but now that money, I don't know, isn't just totally made up and going, people are like, oh, yeah, maybe money is a real thing. Now people seem to care more, and I don't hear any talk about NFTs anymore.
Okay, last question, and I think this is an interesting one. This is a good question. Big Scott also says, pick one, amazing beard or amazing head of hair. I'll say, since I have a beard, I think a good beard is a lot easier. Like, you have to put way less into a good beard. You know, it's like that's easy hanging fruit to grow a good beard. It's growing a good head of hair is a long commitment.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think a good head of hair. If I had to pick, I can't like really grow a beard, but I still am gonna pick hair over a beard if I had to choose one any day. I'd way rather have long hair than be bald and have a beard.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially if we're saying like be bald to go like being bald, like you're unable to grow hair anymore.
Yeah, if we're gonna take it to the extreme,
I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. That is what I don't care actually if my hair goes completely gray. You know, it might change what my hairstyle is at that point because I don't know that I'm prepared to have hair down to here that's gray. I might go a shorter cut, but I would just like for it to stay in for longer, and I'd be happy with that.
100% agree.
I just think the beard's pretty easy. Like like that's pretty easy. It takes something to get a good head of hair,
and there's maintenance involved.
Oh, there is. I keep thinking about getting a haircut. I'm at 3 years now with no haircut. In 3 years, my hair is fairly long now. You know, it goes like down to like this now, and the tangling gets it. You know, the brushing is like a thing now where I'm like every day the brushing.
See, that's not even my problem. My problem is I just can't have my hair down around kids. Like my kids can't be around me without being tangled in my hair. And in 3 years has to be up all the time.
I'm not fully comfortable with my hair down ever. Actually, what I've learned is like now that it's as long as it is now, especially within like the last year, it doesn't really feel good to me when it's down. Like it feels like it's getting in my way and stuff.
I like having it down, but it's just so long. It's always in the way. Like at night it's down, but I have to sit up, grab it and put it back because it's so long that my back lays on it.
Yeah.
And then so you roll over in the middle of the night and you get stuck because your head.
The sleeping thing is actually that annoys me almost nightly. I mean, not that it's a huge problem, but there's almost like at least once, like even just the getting situated, like you said, like I'm like, sometimes I think, this would be, that's one of the perks of the short hair is just
for sure. And then this time of year, it's so annoying because I go to the gym at noon. I want to come home, eat, hop in the shower and take my dog for a walk, but I cannot hop in the shower and then take my dog for a walk because my hair would be frozen. So I can't do that. So then you just can't plan on taking a shower and being outside for any amount of time in the next hour because your hair will all freeze, which is super annoying. And when you have kids, especially kids that are under the age of 1, whose hands are kind of just out of control, they're constantly stuck in your hair if it's down.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'd still pick long hair over a beard.
Okay, that wraps up our Q&A. But I do think we should cap this episode off with a couple other things here quick before we bring this one in for a final landing. Do we want to do over-under this episode, or
Sure.
do we want to read a couple podcast reviews instead, or
Let's
what
do
do you
some
think?
over-under. Knock it out.
Okay. We'll knock out over-under, then we'll wrap up a couple more ads, and we'll bring this one on home. Okay, Tommy, overrated or underrated? Do you remember how to play this? It's been a while for you, I know, but I can tell by the look in your eyes that you remember how to play this.
Yep. Got the craziest look in his eye.
Do you remember the druthers that you have them? No line riding. You cannot ride the line is what you can't do.
Yep. There'll be
Got to decide if each one is over or under.
No line riding here.
Well, I usually save the best for last, so stay tuned for number 4 in the list.
All
But
right,
we'll
kicker.
get there. First one, big popular topic in the Discord recently. Overrated or underrated Yingling beer.
I don't actually know if I've ever had it. It has been talked about a lot in the Discord this last week.
When
And
we're in Florida, it's always around all over the place.
yeah,
Like, everyone
I know I've
has
seen it on the menu traveling places before, but I didn't know that. I just thought it was just a regional light beer. I didn't know if it was like that desirable of a beer. The Discord is making it sound like it's just this highly coveted beer that everyone
there's some
wants.
mixed
Yeah, there is
opinions.
some. Some people had some very high opinions of it though, and I didn't realize that. I thought it was just like, here's the local Bud Light, which that's not usually super high on my list to go get the local light beer, but I do want to try it now because I didn't realize there's that much hype around it, to be honest. So I don't know. These ones are so hard for me because they do not exist. The only reason I basically even know exists, one, I think Jonathan was like the first person to ever tell me about it. And then I see it in the Discord. I don't know. It's probably overrated.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I've had it several times. I mean, I'd get one.
Yeah,
but
that being said,
whatever.
I'll gladly, if someone, I'll drink 10 of them if you let me.
Right. Make it 12.
Yeah.
Let's party.
Why stop?
Overrated or underrated? Carhartt.
Man, you're making this game tricky lately.
Keeping everyone honest and over under.
So I do think Carhartt stuff is still pretty good quality. They're fairly accessible. There's even small town middle America. There's probably a store that sells Carhartt that you can get. I think their quality's decent. Yeah, I think Carhartt's still underrated. I think they are.
Okay. All right. Underrated. I was just checking to make sure I knew. I was like, where does the name Carhartt come from?
Isn't it a guy's last name?
Yeah, and I assumed it was, but that's what it
Are they
does
a
appear to be.
Detroit company, aren't they originally?
In the year 1889 was a time of steel, steam, and locomotives. Also when Hamilton Carhartt and Company was founded by its namesake. Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Kind of sounds like it by the way they're talking about steel. And
1889, Detroit, Michigan.
So you said under.
You know what's really funny, though? Carhartt has a brand. It's Carhartt Work in Progress, Carhartt Whip.
Yeah.
And that's like the high-end Carhartt.
Oh.
Where the same items now, not the same, but slightly more modern, stylish takes on these same items now go for triple, quadruple the price. Like,
so they just created that to sell to all the people that are like,
yeah, it's like the
more
trendy
recent trend.
It's like the trendy fashion brand.
Right.
So like I'm just looking here. If I go to,
But it's funny, like them making that is like an odd thing to me because it's almost like the what the brand is not.
Yeah, the opposite of what Carhartt is.
Right.
Yeah, like here, just
Right.
on CarharttWhip.com, just crew neck sweatshirt's $115, and it's just a sweatshirt with a tiny, tiny little embroidered logo on the left
then
chest.
What's the funny thing? Yeah, it's like it is the opposite of what they are. But then it's funny, like from the fashion standpoint, like the fashion statement to me of wearing Carhartt is wearing.
It's the everyman's clothes, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's
So
the
then
working
if you're
man's.
choosing to wear a Carhartt whip, it no longer is
I know
what it.
it's like. I want to be like. I want to have like the blue collar, like tough stuff,
Right.
but I also want to have a more exclusive version of it. So I got to go.
Right.
Like here, they're pocket tees. I'm sure the fit's slightly different. It might be different material, but you know, you can get your standard pocket tee at Runnings all day, every day for, I don't know, probably $20, $25.
I've got a few of them.
These ones are $48. The ones with the embroidered logos, $55. The ones with screen printing are $70.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's just it's a different type of product, I guess.
That's a weird.
But it does exist.
Okay. Audible for number 3, overrated or underrated creatine.
I do think it's overrated, right? I mean, you got to give it credit outside of
It is one of the supplements that we can all agree it does. It is
protein,
it has
protein,
value.
creatine, and caffeine are one of the few supplements that you can say they apparently do something. And I'll give them credit. I think they do something, but I don't know. Like, I mean, creatine's not giving you a 10% boost here or anything. You know, like that'd be insane. And does it give you a 1% boost? Like that's just, I think that's what we assume.
Do you ever feel like it's giving you a noticeable anything?
It's been so long since I've taken it. That's why it's really hard for me to say. I don't know though. I guess I look at it like, what was the 2-pound bag with I don't know, 100 and some servings was $20. So you say, okay, well, yeah, you're paying, I don't know, 25 to 50 cents a day. Maybe if that helps, maybe. I don't know.
And then if you maybe if you compare it against the greater world of supplements, like maybe it's underrated in that way. Like if you look
probably
at it that
is.
way, because,
but I also think people
like,
probably overrate the importance of it. Like people want to be like, oh, it's the greatest. It's like, there's so many things that people leave on the table before creatine. You know, specifically diet, programming, and recovery. Like no one. How many people are actually good at those 3 things? Like some people are good at 1 or 2 of them.
Why would you get good at that when you could just take a supplement?
Just solve all your problems. It's probably overrated, but you and me are both so light on supplements in general.
Okay, last topic, and this is worth all the marbles, of course. Last topic, best topic, overrated or underrated, the Pontiac Aztec.
I heard Pontiac, and I thought, what model's he going with here?
Of course, none other than the infamous, notorious Pontiac Aztec.
Okay, I got to pull up a picture just to
I was just going to say you
really
need to
take it in while this is going on. You know what's interesting?
It was made from 2001 until 2005.
Yeah, and the 0 to 60 is between 8.7 and 9.6 seconds, which is so slow. You know what?
It was made through my high school years.
I remember seeing these things around a ton. From the side, I almost think this car doesn't look terrible when I look at the side view. Especially with some of the stuff you see now, it's
hybrid-y.
Yeah, it's like an SUV with kind of like this fastback, kind of like sloped rear end thing, which is super trendy right now. A lot of SUVs are starting because it makes them look a little sleeker. But this thing has so many but also it is boxy, and boxy is as popular as ever. Where it's just so good. The front looks so goofy.
The car as a whole is like one of the most horrific looking.
It is, and
most
people say it is one of the ugliest cars ever made. But the front is really, I never even even as a child, or what would I have been, middle schooler when this thing first came out, I remember being so confused by the hood because the hood comes down, but it looks like it doesn't actually attach to anything. And then below that is the grill.
They have like the more common Pontiac of the time looking grill below, like this almost like faux grill that's created by the weird hood.
Yeah, and it's
gap.
It's weird because it seems like it's a grill, but at the same time, it's like an inch tall. But yeah, it's really, really bizarre, that front is. And then I guess some of the ones that I'm looking at here are all the same body color, which looks a little better. Where it gets really fugly is when they have.
Well, there's nothing more hideous than that, like that black huge, and yellow 2002 Pontiac.
Oh, with that black plastic cladding that doesn't stay black, fades to gray like instantly. So this yellow one here with the gray plastic cladding that's not even just like covering the fenders. It's half of the body is plastic.
The plastic cladding ones are the more iconic Aztec in my mind, where it's like, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, these all body color ones, I actually don't really remember seeing these ever when I'm looking at the pictures here.
Those don't look quite as bad.
No, they don't. I mean, I feel like this isn't far from what Subaru was doing at the time.
Right.
Or even recently, but
the hood is really the most off-putting part of that. Though.
It is bad. It is bad. And then the power, I guess, leaves a lot to be desired reading this. Also, this car did you watch Breaking Bad, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
This was Walt's car all through Breaking Bad was the Aztec.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of gave it a second life because it was made popular in the show there. But
right.
God, the car's. I don't know. It's weird because it is one of the worst rated cars of all time. So do you say the car's overrated? It's like, well, it's rated almost as low as you could possibly rate a car.
That's what I was trying to go with.
So maybe it's actually a little underrated now that I think
that's
of
what
it.
I wondered, if it's possible that it's underrated. How poorly it.
Yeah, it's just rated so lowly by most people that I do think it probably actually is.
Man,
is
the ones with the plastic bottom, like even like there. So it's a black vehicle with that gray plastic, awful stuff that makes up a third of the entire vehicle.
It is like it goes up way too far. People put plastic on cars still now, but they do not put them on that much of the car.
Or like there's a white one with the black. I'm like, God, it looks terrible. Like it just looks terrible.
Didn't they do that same thing on the Avalanche too, though? Didn't that have plastic going way?
Oh,
yes. God,
it was the same thing.
They really put a lot of plastic.
That's what
on
it reminds me of, like that. But they stopped doing that, at some point in time, the Avalanche too. And then I'm like, oh, that looks way better.
It does. Like, it just looks so bad with all that plastic on there. Wow, that is a lot. I forget that's how much they actually put on. The Aztec. What a machine.
So you said underrated.
Yeah, and then here, do you know what the high-end version of the Aztec was?
No.
Because, of course, it's GM, so, like the brands all got to share
LTZ?
it. No. We're talking Buick, baby.
Oh, yeah, right.
Talking the Buick Rendezvous.
Oh, the Rendezvous is an Aztec?
Yeah, that's the Buick. I think it's on the same platform. I'm not sure how many parts are actually. I'm sure the interior is actually probably almost the same. The body, you can tell, looking at it, definitely has some shared characteristics here.
This would have predated, what's Buick's SUV thing now that's like parallel to like the.
Let's see. Just give me a second here. There's the SUVs and crossovers. What do you got for us, Buick? We got the Encore. We got the Encore
Enclave.
GX, the Encore GX ST, the Envision Avenir, the Enclave. There you go. Yeah, the Enclave.
Yeah. I guess this would have predated the Enclave is what I was thinking.
Probably, yeah. Wow. Buick is... Wait a minute. Oh, I was on the SUVs tab. I was going to say, really? Buick is down to... Wait a minute. Yeah, Buick is down to 3 vehicles. Encore, Envision, and Enclave.
Just stop. When's enough, Buick?
You had your run. Call it quits.
There's nobody, pretty soon, old people will be people that were didn't used to be old, and they won't even want a Buick.
Well,
Like,
once all the old people are dead, you just you burn. You didn't do anything to acquire new customers. So
oh, and then like the people that are then now old, that are old now, they didn't have Buicks. You know, they don't.
yeah, it's like the brand just doesn't even exist anymore. But I think Buick, their number
Although
one market.
I'm a Buick guy.
But they abandoned the classics. They got rid of the LeSabre. And what was the nice one? Is it the Park
Avenue? And the budget one was the Regal.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. They got rid of those.
I mean,
so
they abandoned the horse that they rode in on.
Exactly. But I do believe Buick's biggest market is China. I think that's where they're like a major luxury vehicle is considered in China. The Buick.
Obviously, that makes perfect sense.
Naturally, yeah.
You did pass overrated, underrated, Tommy. It looks like.
Hot damn.
Cool beats. Cool.
There we go.
This episode was also brought to you by Juggernaut AI. Juggernaut AI is like having the best powerlifting coach in the world with you during every training session. You've got that powerlifting coach right there. Powerlifting coach here, shove it in your pocket. Bam, right in your pocket. And powerlifting coach will be stuck in your pocket saying, let me out of this pocket.
Yeah.
I can't breathe in here.
How'd I get in this pocket?
How'd I get in this bloody pocket? I'm a powerlifting coach. They help you reach your true potential. We both use Juggernaut AI. You can use it too. Just head over to the web browser of your choice and type in juggernautai.app. That's where you go to get signed up. You can make sure to use discount code Massenomics when you do that. That'll save you 10% for the lifetime of that membership. But do make sure to sign up through the web browser. Don't sign up through the App Store. Got to use the discount code there. And with the discount code, it ends up being like $30 a month, which is it is an extremely great value buy, in my opinion. What you're getting for $30 a month.
Yeah, go hire a coach
awesome.
for $30 a month and tell me what type of service they're going to give you.
This, a lot of times, is better than the coach that you're going to pay 3 or 4 times the price.
A lot of businesses charge more than $30 a month for their Excel templates.
True. All that to be said, you basically can't afford not to purchase it, and you can't afford not to use discount code Massenomics. So thank you, Juggernaut AI.
And who have I not read yet?
Let's see.
This episode is also brought to you by our fine friends at SwissLink.
I was hoping you were going to say SwissLink.
Is that what you were like, just because you wanted to hear the ad, or you just going to sound dumb if I read another one twice?
No, I'm just excited to hear about SwissLink.
Okay. I mean, it would have sounded dumb if I read the same one twice.
Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, right.
SwissLink is your number one source to prep for winter with military quality surplus items like coats, parkas, and jackets. They also have military tactical gloves, hat and caps, and Tanner's home favorite, SwissLink blankets in the classic wool style.
Got
soft to the touch,
here.
durable, and generously sized. The SwissLink classic wool blankets will not disappoint. Available in a wide style of colors, patterns, and colors. Man, yeah, they got a lot here. So while you're there, you can also check out some other great things like first aid kits, emergency and survival food, gas masks, of course, survival gear, and a case of MREs.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. You know we all like MREs. And in case you're wondering, well, what's on the menu? The standard complete MRE 8-ounce entree options may include cheese tortellini, beef stew, barbecue chicken, chicken noodle stew, pasta with marinara sauce, chicken rice with vegetables, vegetarian chili, lentil stew with potatoes and ham, pinto bean stew with ham, and some others, but I know your mouth is already watering. So if you're ready to make the purchase and have dinner served this week, go to SwissLink.com. And while you're there, use code MASS, M-A-S-S, to save 15% on your first order.
Don't mind if I do. I might go grab a couple more wool blankets right now.
Yeah.
Before they run out.
Driving to the Arnold, we're trying to be as efficient as possible. We might just have to buy some MREs and just eat in the car on the way.
Oh, time saving tips.
And also,
yeah,
if we just have the NATO fuel cans ready for us, We can just run the vehicle out of gas. The second it runs out, just put the NATO fuel cans in. That we don't have to worry about driving into a town to get gas.
We'll just leave the 5-gallon NATO fuel cans in the back seat of the vehicle, and then we'll have a funnel system that while we're going down the highway, you can be dumping in 5-gallon NATO fuel cans into the gas tank.
I like it. Yep, they go up to, we got a 22-liter one here, 5.8 gallons. So,
and if we spill a little gas in the cab, no big deal.
5 gallons. I mean, we only go through a few hundred gallons on the way there, so we'll just buy like 30 of these fuel tanks and just fill up the back. I mean, it might be kind of heavy, but it's what you have to do to get there on time.
Right, it's worth it. And SwissLink made it all possible.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and please leave us a 5-star review. We're hoping to get that 500 review mark any day, week, or month now. And you could be the one to get number 500 or one of the ones leading up to 500. Make sure to check out our site, buy all of our good and great items that we have for sale at Massenomics.com. Drink spotters, tees, shorts, hats, jorts. Just about everything you put on your body can be found at Massenomics.com. And make sure to follow us on, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube as we've been continuing to pump out YouTube videos. Hopefully new ones, a few new ones a month. So make sure you're checking those out each week when we got a new one out there.
Liking, commenting, subscribing, ringing that bell.
Smashing. I don't want you to just hit the like button. You have to smash the like button.
Yep.
Just blow it to pieces. I want you to detonate the like button.
Or we will find you and suspend your account. So
yes,
we will report you for harassment if you don't smash the like button.
Smash the like button. Just smash it. Smash the shit out of it. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just please make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.